أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. So we're going to talk about procrastination, which is something that, I think we've all, if not fell victim or been infected with it, we know many people who have this problem. And so the Quran and the Sunnah talk about this attitude of how we view our purpose and how we set goals and what's important and what needs to be taken care of and what is an issue. So the term procrastination, it means to put something off or delay it. And it's the definition here is especially something that should require attention now. So something that you know should probably be done now, or it's better to be done now, and then you start to put it off. The history of the Islamic concept of character and character defects, the term tasweef has been there. And so tasweef, it is to say sofa, to say I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And so the scholars defined it in the Arabic dictionary, tasweef, exactly as the scholars have defined the word procrastination in English. Meaning, this is a universal character defect that is found in all cultures and people. So when the Quran says sofa, when God says sofa, it always happens exactly as He said. Exactly as He has said, it's going to happen, it will happen, then it happens. And so, وَسَوْفَ يُؤْتِي اللَّهُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ أَجْرًا عَظِيمًا. That He will give the believers a great reward. There's no doubt in our mind about that when He says it. An important point here is that because we trust in what He has said, because of what He has said would happen before, and how He has controlled the affairs of everything, we know that He does what He says. You see? And so the famous ayah, كَبَرَ مَقَتًا عِنْدَ اللَّهِ أَن تَقُولُوا مَا لَا تَفْعَلُونَ, that would be greatly displeasing to God that you would say, I'm going to do this, and then you don't do it. So this is a very serious thing. So as we recited in the Salat al-Isha, أَلْهَاكُمُ التَّكَاثُرُ, that you are distracted by seeking more stuff, more worldly things, work, things in this world, buying new things, having more things. All of that distracts you. And then He says, حَتَّى زُرْتُمُ الْمَقَابِرِ, until you visit the graves. And the vast majority of scholars commented on this, saying, when you die and you enter into the graveyard. كَلَّا سَوْفَ تَعْلَمُونَ. No, this thinking process that you have had is wrong. You surely will see. You will come to know. ثُمَّ كَلَّا سَوْفَ تَعْلَمُونَ. And no, you will come to see. You will come to know this reality. So He's telling you exactly what will happen. And there's no doubt in the mind of the one who's reading the scripture as to what is going to happen. Inshallah, that will figure itself out. The Quran talks about the blameworthy procrastination. وَأَنْفِقُوا مِمَّا رَزَقْنَاكُمْ مِنْ قَبْلِ أَنْ يَأْتِيَ أَحَدَكُمُ الْمَوْتُ فَيَقُولُ رَبِّ لَوْلَا أَخَّرْتَنِي إِلَى أَجَلٍ قَرِيبٍ فَأَصَّدَّقْ وَأَكُنْ مِنَ الصَّالِحِينَ. So the Quran said, spend out of the wealth that we have given you before death comes to any one of you, and then you call out to your Lord, my Lord, if you'll only let me live a short time longer, then I will give out of my wealth and become one of the righteous. So this is what we call the blameworthy procrastination. In that you are claiming after you had all the opportunity that you should have had to do what you should have done, and now you're claiming, if I just had another chance. حتى إذا جاء أحدهم الموت قال رب ارجعون لعلي أعمل صالحا فيما تركت كلا إنها كلمة هو قائلها ومن ورائهم برزخ إلى يوم يبعثون. So the ayah says, the death will come upon any person, and they will start to say in regret, well, oh my Lord, if you will just let me go back and live some more, then I will fulfill my duty to you. Then I will start to live a righteous life. And God then declares to them, no, this is just something people are saying now, and now they are facing the afterlife. So again, this point, there's many ayahs in the Quran that bring up this point. That on the Day of Judgment, at the time of death, many people who knew better will be regretting that they did not take their soul and spirituality seriously because of this and that and the other. And so procrastination is going to be one of the main reasons why many people find themselves in a problem in the hereafter, in a punishment in the grave, on the Day of Judgment, and in the hellfire. The reason will be is because they chose to put other things before their soul. They chose to make priorities that aren't crucial to their existence. Okay? Or they were very lazy people who didn't care and didn't have any purpose, and they just did not take advantage of their life. So we all know the famous hadith, take advantage of 5 before 5. I'm sure everybody here has heard at least 3-4 khutbahs in their life on this one. Okay? Because it's the what we say, the crux of the issue here. What are the 5 before 5? Your youth. Before you become old. Okay, next. Your health. Before you become sick. Your wealth. Before you become poor. Your free time. Taking your free time before you end up getting really, really busy with something. And the final is, look at your whole life as something that could pass like that, and live your life every day to the best of your ability, doing what you know is best for you and your interest, eternally speaking. There's another authentic hadith in which the Prophet ﷺ has emphasized this point. In Sahih al-Tirmidhi, the scholars said it's a Hasan hadith. Some scholars said that there's a question in the narrator, but Sheikh Sayyid Nuh, rahimahullah ta'ala, he said he believes it to be a reliable hadith. And he said, بَادِرُوا بِالْأَعْمَالِ سَبْعًا. Right? بَادِرُوا بِالْأَعْمَالِ الصَّالِحَةِ سَبْعًا. So, hasten and take advantage of righteous deeds and work righteousness before 7 things will come. Because you will find yourself in what we call فَقْرًا مَنْسِيًّا, فَقْرًا مُنْسِيًّا. That you find yourself in poverty, that you forget what's really important because you're just looking to find something to eat. So you're really not doing anything in life because you're so poor. You're just trying to find something to eat. And then he said, غِنًا مُطْغِيًّا. When you become very wealthy and then, you find yourself arrogant and proud of your money and all of this, and you are transgressing in your religion. Then he said, maradan, a type of sickness that will be so bad that you can't really move or do anything, and now you can't take advantage of your responsibilities. And then he said, haraman mufannidan, a senility, or you become very old and now you lose any sense of rationality or control of your mind. So now you're alive according to science, but you're not aware and able to fulfill your obligations because you don't know what's going on. And then the quick death that comes upon you like that. It can, so many people. As the last 7 years, or now 8 years, I have buried so many people that are younger than myself. I'm just coming on 40. And I have buried many, many, many people who died before 40. And most of those people did not know they were dying, and nobody expected them to die. Just the other day, a marathon runner in Boston, Massachusetts, who was 40, died of a flu. I read a whole article. A 21-year-old young lady who was a gymnast, a very healthy young woman, died of the flu. Very healthy, very in shape, got the flu, it got really bad, she died. Her mom's just, completely, nobody expected that. She's having flu like we've all had. And then it just got all bad and killed her. Nobody knows when their time is going to come. Death will come. So then the last one is the Dajjal. A lot of people say, yeah, what is this Dajjal? There's going to be a guy come as a sign of the final times. And he will become some great leader and be seen as like some holy prophet / divine character. And God will test people with giving him some power. And he will lead lots of people. And many people will be completely in awe of this guy. They will think he is amazing. He is the great leader. So when that comes, you're not going to be doing righteous deeds because you'll be fooled with the tricks of the shaitan through the Dajjal. So there is such thing as praiseworthy procrastination. And here we're not talking about, because the word procrastination is always seen as negative in English. But the word tasweef has al-madhmoom wal-mamduh. There's good and there's bad from it. So the good is that you start saying, you know what, I plan to do this good deed. And you're sincere in your heart. And the sincerity is the key here. Being a hypocrite and saying I'm going to do this righteous deed or that righteous deed because you want people to think you're a good person and all that, that's a waste of words and a sick heart. To claim to do, I'm going to do something good, and the reason, the underlying intention behind it is, well, then the people will think about me if I say that. You see? This is a totally disastrous with it. And that's where, as parents, we should not raise our kids with the fear of God. Or if or you have to be like doing this and that. Because then when you do it like that, then you will create hypocrites. If you don't do this, you don't do that, if you don't do this, then you're not a good Muslim, you're not going to heaven, things like that. It's not our business anyways. We're just supposed to be examples, lead by example, and give good wisdom and reasoning, and then they're going to do what they're going to do. I mean, if it's seriously harmful to themselves or whatever, then you're going to try to fix it. But other than that, certain spiritual things, spirituality is very delicate. So, to claim, you know what, so you sincerely intend, I'm going to stop doing this evil thing. Right? So it's the famous ayah from Surah Yusuf. قَالُوا يَا أَبَانَا اسْتَغْفِرْ لَنَا ذُنُوبَنَا إِنَّا كُنَّا خَاطِئِينَ. The brothers of Joseph, they went to their father, they said, when he found out what they had done. And he said, oh, our father, they all said, please seek God's forgiveness for us because we are clearly sinners. We have been sinners. قَالَ سَوْفَ أَسْتَغْفِرُ لَكُمْ رَبِّي. Right? إِنَّهُ هُوَ الْغَفُورُ الرَّحِيمُ. I will seek the forgiveness of my Lord for you. Because He is full of forgiveness and merciful. The scholars commented on this, and this is that He is planning to continuously do this until He dies. So He's saying that's what He's going to do. So there's nothing wrong with saying I'm going to do something. But you have to look into your heart and be sure that your sincerity and that you mean it. The warning came from many prophets. If you guys do this and this and this will happen. And we saw the stories. They all got destroyed because they did not take them seriously. And so we see that, and that's praiseworthy. To warn somebody of the potential effects and harms of things they're doing wrong is a praiseworthy thing. If you do this, this is what's going to happen. You see, you know what? With our kids, again, they get this. It's like a battle of wills, battle of egos. They get this idea that we're just trying to control them, and that because we're big and parents, we can just tell them what to do. So we just give random rules. That's the way they look at it, many of them, by the way. And the only reason they would look at it is because we have not, with the character by which we are expressing it, it came out as like some sort of what we call qahri. It's like, you must, otherwise, and the fear and all that, and danger, rather than, if you do that, this is going to happen. I'm telling you, I've lived life, and I'm trying to give you some lessons that I've learned from. I would rather you not go through bad things that I've seen happen in my life and in others' lives. It's only me looking out for your best interest. That's the divine wisdom of people being created through families. These people live through it, and then you come from them, and then that's something very special to you, and you want to make sure that they don't fall into what you have fallen into, right? So if you give that, then it will be received a lot better. So the manifestations of procrastination. Obviously, to continue in a sin. And then to say, have you all heard this one? In Ramadan, in Hajj, I'm going to go to Hajj, and then I will start praying. And then I will stop smoking. And then I will do the diet. I will start a diet. And they keep going on and on and on. And they never ever do it. They never even begin to do it. And they keep saying this. So this is, So the point here is that what does Ramadan and Hajj have anything to do with what you know you should be doing or not be doing right now? Right? Clearly, you are trying to convince yourself. Something that no scholar in the history of Islam, nor does any ayah or hadith indicate, that you should knowingly do wrong, and then it's a good idea to say, well, because Ramadan and Hajj are the most special times, then I'll start being a good Muslim. No, we're all told, udkhulu fi silmi kafa. The word kafa here has many meanings. Now, as best you can, always, never stop, to the best of your ability, in all ways, shapes, and forms. Enter into a state of submission to your Lord and Creator, Provider, and Sustainer completely. Now, right? Not insha'Allah, which doesn't make any sense. Somebody says, insha'Allah, I will quit smoking. Allah has said, don't waste your money. Allah has said, don't harm yourself. Allah has said, don't mess with filthy, foul-smelling things. All of those things are mentioned in Scripture in one way or another. In many ways. In many ayahs. So He has sha'a, His will is don't do it. It's your will is the problem. And this is why tasweef is a trick. That, well, insha'Allah. So if it's Allah's business. Your brother said, ubtulit. In Arabic, this one really bothered me. They use this one. I have been tested. Because they call that mabnil al-majhul. It's mean like, I don't know how it happened to me. It's just Allah caused this thing, I'm not smoking now. And so I don't know what to do. He's been tested, he's been tried with anger problems. So Allah yahdi. No, it's His. Allah has guided and said, don't act all angry. Allah said that's His will, is that. Don't get all angry and act all crazy. So it's your will is the problem, and that's your sin. You don't blame it on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These are some strange cultural things that have manifested that we have to nip it in the bud and go back to the Quran and the Sunnah as it came. Because the Prophet and his companions, none of them talked like this. None of them said like this. Very strange language. And as we said, delaying something that could be done today. And then you invent, kind of like what we were just talking about, you invent an excuse. So, probably you need to do this or that, you gotta pay the bills, you gotta do that, you gotta fix something. I'm giving the brothers a hard time now. You're supposed to do this, supposed to do that, I'm gonna study, right, for the young people. I'm going to study, but, tonight, I'm going to. And so why do you have to do that? And what made that so important? Like, why is that? Like, your whole life is hanging in the balance of this thing, and you're doing something that has no effect. So that's the metaphysics. So the cause, the first and most powerful cause is you were born into a family where they do this. نشأ في عائلة متصوفة. Right? It's saying we're going to do it, we're going to do it, we're going to do it. The family is always doing it. Dad does it, mom does it, grandma does it, cousins do it. Everybody's always, inshallah, 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 inshallah. That's a big problem. Because the environmental condition. And so friends go along with that. Like, you have friends and people that you hold close, and they're always putting off things and never fulfill their obligations as they should. And, with Muslims, I call it the oppressed insha'Allah. When I was I was a new Muslim teaching the PE class, physical education, at an Islamic school. And I was still new, and I really didn't understand the details yet. And so one of the kids, because I had been around the community for about 2 years, so one of the kids said, inshallah, this. I said, don't say inshallah, just say you're going to do it. And the brother that runs the school, he got all mad and talked to me. I was like, why are you telling the kids don't say inshallah? I was like, because that means he's not going to do it. And he was like, no. And I was like, brother, y'all be saying that all the time. This is something you see. It happens a lot. And so this is the idea any convert or child is going to get. Many kids, if you ask them at 8, 9, 7, 8, you're 9 years old, what is inshallah? He said, probably not. Maybe. It means maybe. If you look up the spiritual concept in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, all these are emphasized in all three scriptures. God willing means I'm going to do my utmost best and I'm planning to do it exactly as I say. Unless some divine tornado, car crash, big sickness, thing that I'm not planning for to happen, unless that happens, it's going to go down. Because I'm going to do it. But I know I'm not in full control of everything, and my will is not supreme. So it's an expression of determination to do it from your capacity, but recognition of divine decree and knowledge and will. So it is crucial to follow through with our promises. That we should never say I'm going to, we should never make a promise unless we plan on doing that. This is what we call al-hazm or al-azm, to be determined, to be consciously committing to something. Either that or not saying anything at all. I can't comment on that right now. I'll think about it. That's the proper Islamic way of responding if you don't know if you're going to do it or not. I'm not going to tell you because I'm not sure about that yet. I'll look into it. But then when you say, that way we create, as we'll talk about in solutions, trust and dependence and reliance, which are very healthy social factors that need to be there. The Prophet ﷺ actually said in a hadith found in Sunan Abi Dawood, that the scholars have verified, that if someone calls a child acting like they have some candy or some toy, they say, come here, I'm going to give you this, and then the child comes and they don't give it, you'll be written as a liar. This is a sinful thing. And the scholars commented in that you are tricking that child and you're teaching it, and this is wallahi, the Prophet understands, obviously by divine law, psychology. This is a deep understanding of human psychology. You are training that child. It's like people wonder why kids scream and yell and they keep doing that until they get older. Because when it was young, you taught the child by responding to screaming and yelling with getting it what it wants. It learned, I get what I want if I scream for stuff. So if you show it I can lie about something in order to get what I want, then that's what that kid's going to grow up doing. And then you created a liar. It's a serious thing. So the Prophet ﷺ is warning us about that. So the causes. The Prophet ﷺ, he told us, if you wake up every day, a few times in the morning, before you go to bed at night, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-ajzi wal-kasal. Because they're not praying. You have to seek divine assistance. Oh God, I am seeking refuge with you from weakness and laziness. The Prophet said that at least 6 times a day, if not more, because it's been mentioned in some of at the end of salat, du'as and prayers. But 3 times in the morning, 3 times in the night. This is one we call the ma'thurat, the established remembrances and prayers of the Prophet every day. He used to say this. Similarly, the Prophet ﷺ said, لا تصاحب إلا مؤمنا ولا يأكل طعامك إلا تقي. That you should spend most of your time with believers. And you should not allow to come over, or you shouldn't bring over someone to eat unless they're a pious person. Now let me give you some clarity on this one. It's talking about the generality and an encouragement of keeping the right people around you as your general standard. It doesn't mean it's haram to be friends with someone who's not a believer or someone who has sins that they do and you know it and everybody knows that, or to have those people over to your home. This is not a prohibition of that. Because we saw the Prophet ﷺ, having people around him like that, and he did not not, be their friend or have them in his home. So what is being said is, you should make sure that the generality of your time, that you know believers and you have a good relationship with them. And you should always look above. Look to someone that you know is more serious about spirituality and seek to be their friend. And if they really are more serious about spirituality, they will love to have you as their friend, and they will see that as a beautiful thing. They won't be like, why are you trying to tag along with me, man? That person has some spiritual sickness to talk like that or think like that. This is the cool syndrome or whatever it is nowadays. No. The person who, somebody comes to them, I'd like to invite you, or, I'd like to hang out sometime, and you're doing that because of a genuine desire to be close to someone who you believe is closer to God than you. That is a very noble thing. And that is why Salatul Jama'ah has been legislated in Islam. For men and women, by the way. The culture is, women got kicked out of the mosque across the world. And the idea is, well, women have some problems, or men have problems too. We're not kicking them out of the mosque. Everybody should come back to the mosque, as it was in the time of the Prophet ﷺ, in which the mosque would be packed. Ummahatul Mu'mineen praying back there, some kids there, and then the men standing in the front. And that's how they used to pray. And the idea was, somebody there is going to be more spiritual than you. And if you're that, Abu Bakr, Prophet ﷺ is there. That's what you knew was going to be the case. And so you're going to spend time with those people, you're going to make relationships, you're going to invite them to your house, your kids are going to get to know each other. It's a special sacred place. So that people with good, firm faith and determination to be a person of integrity and promise, that's what that place is there for. So you have to have a determination and resolve and incentive. Incentive is, you have to realize the benefits. We're going to talk about those. When you start to realize, why is it important that I get things done on time, as I say, and all that, what good things will come to me as a result, then you will you'll be in great shape. So one of those solutions is to think about the afterlife. I'm going to die. We have to think about, I could die today or tomorrow, next week. Am I preparing for that? Am I ready for that? If it comes today, am I ready for this? So, setting goals. Being passionate about goals. I need to get this done. To feel excited about getting things done. To be that kind of a person. I need to get these things done. This is something that needs to be done. This is something that needs to be done. Here's the time in which I'm going to do it. Put it on your calendar, your to-do list, and then do it. Now the phone is a great resource for the mu'min and for the fajr. It's up to you, whatever you want to do. So the believer is, using it for beneficial things, set my time, set my goals, and so forth. Being healthy, physically fit, eating healthy, physically fit, and getting good sleep, those will all help you to become a person who gets things done. It's a fact of science. When you eat healthy, and the standard of healthy is, if you look on the back and there's all these things you can't pronounce, you don't know what they are in the ingredients, chances are that was made in a laboratory. And that's not what God has. Kulu min at-tayyibat. That's the vegetables and the fruits and the good meats, like chicken and turkey, with not a lot of salt, which means the ones that are not processed. The processing of the meats and the nitrates and what they do to it, put all that salt in there, it ruins the value of meat. You're supposed to just slaughter it and then you eat it. Or you cook it, obviously. So vegetable-based diet is very important. It's actually well known. The Prophet ﷺ generally mostly ate like vegetable and things like that, and oils. He ate a lot of olive oil and things like that. Be physically fit. See, nowadays everybody's in a car, sitting in a cubicle. Mostly, historically, people are moving around. It blew my mind when I went to Egypt. Sometimes I would ride a microbus. If you've never heard of a microbus. But I lived 2.5 miles from the center where I study. So I would probably catch a microbus for a mile, and then I'd just walk the rest. And so I walked there and back, and then whenever I finish my stuff, I go down, walk to the mosque, walk back, and then on a day off I might run to the store, grab something, stuff like that. I lost 8 pounds in 6 months, and I did not go to any gym or anything. I was just walking around doing stuff. And then I was eating like kushari and falafel and ta'miyah. So I didn't eat all that greasy, no good stuff. So yeah, it's good to be. If you get you should get 7-8 hours of sleep. Kids should be getting 10 to 12 hours of sleep. This is a scientific fact. Some people say, yeah, but Rasulullah, number one, the Prophet was Rasulullah. Number two, actually, if you add up the qaylula with the night sleep, it comes out to 7 hours. Because he was taking an hour and a half nap, and he would go to sleep. They used to not have discussions after Isha. Isha, go home, pray Sunnah, go to sleep. Wake up for tahajjud, some 30, 45 minutes, maybe an hour before Fajr. The Prophet sometimes he would sleep only 4 hours. Sometimes, as Aisha radiallahu anha said, sometimes he only got up a short while. So that's that. If you have a lack of self-accountability, muhasabatun nafs, someone who's just not really aware of their reality and what they're doing and how that is affecting the world, لا أقسم بالنفس اللوامة. God says, I swear that there's going to be a day of judgment. And I swear that by the one who would take account of themselves. They will blame themselves for what they're doing wrong. And they will know that they're wrong. And the only way you're best going to know that you're wrong is if someone else tells you. Because you don't tend to find, you can't see yourself. You don't see how you do and how you affect people and all those things. So the believer is empowering people around them to remind them and to tell them, Al-mu'minu mir'atu akhi. The believer is a mirror to his or her brother. So then you can tell, because you would not know if your hair was all messed up and you had some chocolate or whatever on you, unless you look in the mirror, then you'll see that stuff. Then you'll fix it because the mirror showed you. Other than that, you're walking around, acting all normal and everybody's looking at you like, So the character and all that's the same thing. You probably don't see your problem. So the Quran talked about وَالْمُؤْمِنُونَ وَالْمُؤْمِنَاتُ بَعْضُهُمْ أَوْلِيَاءُ بَعْضٍ يَأْمُرُونَ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ صِيغَةِ الْجَمْعِ وَيَنْهَوْنَ عَنِ الْمُنكَرِ. The believing men and women, they are together working together as guardians of each other, supporters. And they are enjoining to each other what is right and what is wrong. And they are helpers of each other in this. And they pray and all those other things. So Islam is about a collective interaction. People fall into a life of sin. And they become comfortable with it. It's an amazing, beautiful thing in the Quranic usage of verbs. So, in the last two ayahs of Surah Al-Baqarah, who is God talking to? The disbelievers or the sinners or the believers? The believers. لَهَا مَا كَسَبَتْ وَعَلَيْهَا مَا اكْتَسَبَتْ. The believer soul will have what it naturally earns. كَسَبَتْ, the basic فعل المجرد, that it will have what it earns, and against it will be what it has exerted itself against its natural disposition to do the evil. But in an ayah before that, when it's talking about disbelievers, بَلَا مَنْ كَسَبَ سَيِّئَةً وَأَحَاطَتْ بِهِ خَطِيئَةُ فَأُولَٰئِكَ أَصْحَابُ النَّارِ هُمْ فِيهَا خَالِدُونَ. Know that the reality is, whoever naturally earns sins, and their sins envelop them because it's so easy for them, they're comfortable with it. And those people go to hell. Because they became cool with sin. You'll meet these people, they don't pray, they're economics, they're cheating people out of stuff, and lying to people all the time, using alcohol, drugs, fornication, all these type things. And you tell them, I pray the best for you. You really should stop these things. You should really start to take faith seriously. Prayer is very important. It will really put, and they will tell you, yeah, you're right, I need to do that. And they don't really. They're just saying that because they're cool with sin. Sin's comfortable. Now it's going to become some rigorous effort to pray 5 times a day. It's like, I've never done that. I don't do that. I'm cool with that lifestyle. And that's what I call tul al-amal, or miscalculation of the mercy of God. Or the modern religion, modern liberal religion, I have a good heart. This is the new modern religion. I claim I have a good heart, God loves me, and then I'll go to heaven. Where did you get that? Well, this is what everybody says. Did a prophet say that? Did anybody who performed any miracles say that? No. Just some people in modern day America who are basically secularizing a nationalistic form of Christianity, in which in Christianity you say, Jesus died for my sins, He's my Lord and Savior, and then you go to heaven. You don't have to really do much. You just say that and you're set, free to get to heaven. So they said, well, that seems a little bit dogmatic. So let's just remove that Jesus died for my sins and be like, I have a good heart. Let's put that instead. I have a good heart. I'm a good person. Who decided that what you're doing and what you're saying is good? Well, I think it is. And so you trust yourself that you know what's good. Like you can invent what is good in your mind, as opposed to others. Let me ask you all a question. How many of you actually believe that Donald Trump really thinks he's a good man and he's doing the right thing? I guarantee you he does. He does. So did Hitler. So did many people. Their idea of good. So we're like, that's extreme, man. No one like Beyonce and all those, I'm a good person, I'm doing good. If you look at the effect that some of the people have on many people, they're not doing good. They're not creating a great generation of people. It's a wasted generation of people that are going down in their value to the world. And so, good is just an opinion. So that's why we have scripture and prophets who did miracles. That's how we can know what's good. That's why he got the miracle. If he didn't do the miracle, it'd be another opinion, and we wouldn't trust this guy. That's why God gave him miracles. So everybody's saying, oh, well, what he said is real. We should listen to him. He has a standard that is beyond an opinion. The one who is in control of the laws of nature is giving us, through that person, the laws of behavior. Not looking into consequences. Many people just don't, the harmful effects, they don't look into the consequences. They don't look at, well, what may happen if I don't do this thing, or I don't do that, or I do this thing and I am very late in doing it. I've heard of children, they come home and they say, well, this happened and that happened, so I couldn't do the homework. But I should have another chance. So then we talk to the teacher. Teacher's like, I've been telling that child now for a week to do the homework. And I'm not giving them another chance. So if you give them another chance, what are you teaching them? That you don't need to be responsible. You don't need to fulfill your obligations and do things on time. So as the parents, we can't be like fighting for that other chance because kid needs to learn a lesson. So the big harmful effects is regret and getting all depressed. Somebody who has a good heart, sincerely, but yet they find themselves very strong with procrastination, they're not getting things done, they're not praying, they're falling in sins a lot, and they really want to deep down, but they just have no determination, so they're like, well, forget it. I can never do this. Depression hits. I'll never be a good Muslim. So the issue here is not with a good intention, it's with a lack of determination and resolve. Because the person is not looking to, well, what will be the benefit? So the whole concept of Islamic law is revolving around deriving benefit and averting harm and corruption. The whole law, the whole divine truth is about this. Bringing benefit, that's why God is Ar-Rahman, the beneficent. All things that exist are deriving their existence and functionality, and everything that they benefit comes from Him. He's the benefiter, the benefactor. So He's encouraging you to look for benefit and to cause benefit. How can I benefit? How can I cause benefit? The harmful effects, obviously, someone will find themselves in the hereafter with sins and be punished. Their sins have piled up. But in this life, before then, The people who are procrastinating and they are not fulfilling their obligations and their promises, nobody respects these people. Nobody trusts them. So like sometimes, a parent will be talking to their child and they'll be like, no, you can't. They say, can I do this? Can I do that? And you're like, but I don't trust you. Like, Mama, that's not nice. No, your actions all the time prove to me that I can't trust you. If you would just show that I can trust you, meaning you do what you say on time as you said it and you are responsible, then I will trust you to do that. Otherwise, I can't trust you. And it's not my fault. I want to trust you. But I have to be smart and wise. I can't be a fool and allow somebody to create a bunch of stress and problems in my house because I'm being nice. It's the same for organizations. I've been around many communities and talked to people from different communities. And many communities, those boards and managements and the people just don't trust them. They keep saying they're going to do this, they're going to do that. And they say that this is what they're doing, and they don't do that. And they keep saying they're going to build this one and do that one, and they're going to change this system, and they're going to bring in somebody new, and they never do anything. And so the organization loses its value. And the worst thing that could be a mosque or an Islamic center. Because now, a place meant to elevate divine truth has lost all of its value because the people in charge of it are not fulfilling what the Quran said. إِنَّمَا يَعْمُرُ مَسَاجِدَ اللَّهِ مَنْ آمَنَ بِاللَّهِ and so forth. Are you saying they don't believe? I'm just saying that their belief is not being proved. They say the proof's in the pudding. Why do we say that? Why is it pudding that we put the proof? I don't know. We say that. Meaning, you'll see from the output that it's there. I guess at some point, somebody made bad pudding, and they're like, somebody said, I got good pudding, and they're like, okay, make it, and then he made it. It's like, there's a proof in the pudding, he made it, it's good stuff, man. And so the harmful effects that you will find that God is not supporting you. The ummah is not fixing its problems. The people who are leaders in the ummah are not fixing their problems right now. And they're not fulfilling their responsibilities. And so we find ourselves in this situation. It's getting worse. So we have to, what is the cure? How do we cure this problem? Embrace, resolve, and determination. Say, you know what? I'm taking on upon myself a new way of life. I'm hitting the reset button on my attitude. By the way, somebody might think what I'm saying is some crazy thing. Believe it or not, if you set to yourself and you say right now, and then you find some things that you know need to be done right now, and you're like, okay, I'm going to put them on the to-do list, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to get it done, and then you get a few things done right now in the near future. You can't solve the whole future. You just get some things done that you know probably this sickness, you would not have done it as you're supposed to. And then you will embrace high-mindedness, ulul himma, as a deep concern to get things done and do what's right and what needs to be done. Here's a very valuable point the Sheikh brought up. Know that after hard work comes good. Inna ma'al usri yusra. If you work hard, good things will come to you. Hardship will bring ease. It's natural. They come hand in hand. It's the sunnah of Allah. So, know that on the other side of that. So sometimes whenever I've got a whole day of all these appointments, 11, 12-hour day of work, all these different things and preparations and meetings, and then I'll be like, alhamdulillah, tomorrow I'm going to go work out and do this, alhamdulillah. And that's why you should set a tarweeh an nafs. It helps you. Set periodic times of relaxation, of enjoyment, of entertainment, halal entertainment. Because many people think that entertainment must mean I can do whatever I want. I'm 17. So set those things. These people of the coaching, life coaches and all that, they say set times for relaxation and meditation throughout the day. Of course, we have the salah. So take salah seriously. Don't be just doing it because that's the rules and I have to do it because that's what I'm supposed to do, otherwise I might end up in the hellfire. But be I want to connect with Allah and I want to feel a connection with Him and a remembrance and know that His perfection is going to complete my imperfection. He will guide me, He will forgive me, He will make things easy on me, He will answer my prayers. I'm going to go to Him with these intentions and be all chill and relaxed when I do it. And that's why when you're making ablution, you're like setting your mind for a spiritual purification and a woke state to be ready. So there's the famous ayahs we recited in Isha. It talks about this, and it very much explains the whole story. Say to my servants who have done all kinds of sins. Asrafu. It's interesting because the word asrafu, israf is like wasting or extravagance. What it means is to waste your life. He's saying those who have wasted their lives, either they're not doing lots of things that are beneficial, or they're doing things that are harmful to them. So they're a waste of a life. He's saying that. All my servants who have wasted their life, do not become hopeless or despair of the mercy of God. Indeed, He will forgive all your sins. That is His nature. He is forgiving and merciful. That's how He is. So then He says, how will I do this? Because who's being spoken to? The one who sins and they don't pray and they lie and they cheat and they all these things, all these problems. What do I do? وَأَنِيبُوا إِلَىٰ رَبِّكُمْ. Turn back to your Lord. وَأَسْلِمُوا لَهُ. Put it all in His hands. No, I'm not in control. Don't believe you're in control. No, He's in control. Ask His guidance. Pray to Him. Seek the knowledge from His revelation. Do this right now, knowing مِنْ قَبْلِ أَن يَأْتِيَكُمُ الْعَذَابُ وَثُمَّ لَا تُنْصَرُونَ. Then you will die and you will find yourself in a punishment. Know that could happen. The next ayah, follow what is revealed to you to the best of your ability before death hits you like that and you're not ready for it. So the core thing is, I could die today. You should visit the graveyard once a month if you didn't get the janazas. Just go over there to the graveyard, make salam to the people, bid them their peace, and then think, I'm going to be here. It could be tomorrow, next week, I don't know. I'm going to be under the ground here. And I'll have no more chances at that point. So I better treat today and tomorrow as though that's it. That's all I get. Imagine if you knew for sure you're dying tomorrow, how serious you will be about your responsibilities. He says, why to do that? أَن تَقُولَ نَفْسُ يَا حَسْرَةَ عَلَى مَا فَرَّطْتُ فِي جَنبِ اللَّهِ. It should not be that any soul will come on the day of judgment and say, oh, I'm in great regret how I was so negligent in my duty to God. And I used to mock and I didn't take religion seriously. No soul should say, well, if God would have just guided me more, or guided me, then I would have been pious. Or when the punishment is coming, to say, oh, if you give me one more chance, then I will show you. Because the chance came. بَلَا قَدْ جَاءَتْكَ آيَاتِ. Like right now we're in this talk, these are ayat from the Quran. So exactly what Allah is saying has happened as of now, if it didn't before. Saying, no, the reality is, my signs, my miracles, my message, my revelation has come to you. Which is a proof that someone who did not know revelation and did not have a solid base of revelation cannot be held as accountable as one who did. Because He's saying that's why you will be in trouble. My signs came, and then you said, I will not follow that. And you became arrogant, self-absorbed, selfish, about life is about me and what I want and what I like, me. They call it now Generation Me. So what I want, how I like, what I need, what I deserve. It's not fair. You see kids saying all the time, it's not fair. What do you mean it's not fair? So this is the bottom line. If we just take our daily life seriously, set some goals and achieve them, and we put our trust in God, praying to Him regularly, keeping up our daily prayers, praying outside of that, remembering death, thinking that death is right around the corner, always realizing the importance of looking into the benefit, the reward of getting things done, being a trustworthy, reliable person. You will gain friends, people will trust you, your family will believe in you. You will get more, actually, like for the young people, it's like you'll get more privileges if you be like this. So now I would, if when my kids are doing everything right, and I was like, okay, go ahead, go out and play with the friends in the neighborhood. I know what you're going to do. But if I caught you doing this so many times and that so many times, I'm like, I don't know what you're going to do. You prove that to me. So this is where we've got to make resolve, himma. We have to be like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get these things done. Alhamdulillah. So I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to cure our hearts from this procrastination. We've all fell victim to it. And to give us that resolve and determination in our lives, in our souls, in our life, and in our families, and in our communities. SubhanAllah, alhamdulillah, la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.